Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am doing my very first sit down video today and I'm super excited. I'm going to share a lot of things on here that have to do with teaching, have to do with cooking, have to do with living my life. But the biggest thing in my life right now is teaching. I am so immersed in my job. I am a first year teacher currently. I teach kindergarten and I just love it. This has always been the job I've wanted to do. So today I'm going to give you my first year teacher tips that I have come up with 10 tips and hopefully they are helpful to you whether you are a first year teacher or you are about to be a first year teacher. I really hope these are helpful to you, so let's get started. Okay, before I start with my first tip, I just want to say that I do not know everything. Obviously, I'm a first year teacher and teaching is a profession where you continue to grow and you continue to learn. So I definitely am going to learn more in my career than just these 10 tips, and I have learned more than just these 10 tips. But I think these are really important tips to take with you, especially those first couple months of teaching. But yeah, I just wanted to say I don't know everything and this is just my experience. So the very first tip I have is to breathe. It is so overwhelming that first month leading up to your first year, that first month of your first year. It's so overwhelming and sometimes you can just feel like you are about to break. But just breathe. You made it. You made it to your dream job of being a teacher. You have done it. You can do it. You were hired for a reason, and those kids need you in their life for a reason. That's why you are their teacher. So just breathe. It's all going to be okay. I'm not telling you to not have meltdowns. I've had plenty. But remember to breathe even in the roughest days. It's all going to be okay. All right, my second tip is do not be afraid to ask questions. The whole first year of teaching is going to be a giant learning experience. And like I said before, this profession is just a whole learning experience. You grow every day, you grow every year. Your team is not going to expect you to know every answer. Your administration is not going to expect you to know everything. You are new. It is okay to ask questions. Ask your principal things, ask your administration, your team. Find people at that school that you can ask and just be open to listening to advice and to getting your questions answered. It's always better to ask a question before doing something and then realizing that that's not the way it was supposed to be done because of whatever reason. So make sure you ask questions and yeah, people will be there to help you. My very third tip is to be yourself. No one else in the world is going to be the teacher that you will be. So if you try to be a different kind of teacher that doesn't feel natural or you try to just mimic what you've seen, that's okay, but also just remember to bring it back to yourself. You are the only person who's going to teach those kids the way that you will, and it's so important to be yourself. I tell my kids things about my life. I tell them things that are very much myself. If I am acting silly, it's because I want to, not because I feel this pressure to act silly in that moment. Just be yourself, feel yourself out. Kids can feed off of your energy, and if you're acting weird or if you're acting manufactured, they're going to know, no matter their age. So be yourself, because you're awesome. Okay, tip number 4 is to build relationships with your students and with the parents. So I teach kindergarten, and of course, the joy of having a bunch of little kids around me is so obvious, and that's why I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, was to hang out with little kids and watch them experience the world and watch them learn for the first time real big concepts. And that's just so amazing. So no matter what grade you teach, you can build relationships with them. I always tell my students things about my life, things about my cats, things that I did over the weekend. Ask them questions. They want to tell you. They want you to listen to them, no matter how old they are. And when it comes to building relationships with the parents, I have to say that at the beginning of the year, I was very afraid of this. I was so nervous that my parents were going to judge me because I'm young. They were going to judge me because I'm a first year teacher. They will not do that. They are so grateful that you are going to be teaching their child. I have had such an overwhelmingly positive experience with the parents in my class. this year and the families of my students that I will always try to become friends with moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and all of the people that impact my students' life. It's so easy to just shoot them an email every couple days asking, I saw this thing that your child did. It was really amazing. Wow, your child was being so kind to this friend. Giving them little positive blurbs every now and then is super helpful, and they want to hear from you if you're going to do that, because of course people want to hear positive things about their children. And when you have relationships built with parents, it makes it so much easier to talk to them about harder things such as behavior issues, academic issues. It makes it less intimidating to come to them and say, hey, I've noticed he's been doing this or she's been doing this, or I'm concerned about this, blah, 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 whatever it is. They are going to trust you and take you more seriously if you have built a relationship with them. So make relationships and build relationships with your parents and, of course, your students. Tip number 5 is to be consistent with your rules and guidelines. So it's really hard to go in as a first-year teacher and yes, you've had internships, yes, you've had practice in classrooms, yes, you have degrees, but you really don't know what is going to happen until you get in there. And I walked into this year with a whole mindset of, okay, this is how I'm going to have this procedure done. This is going to be my classroom management system. And it changed. And it's partially because of me saying, this doesn't work, I need to change it. And it's partially because of me just being inconsistent and saying like, okay, I didn't like that. Just because I didn't like it this one day, I'm going to change it. That's not a great idea, because students need structure, and especially when it comes to behavior, like there are things that now, before schools were closed, that I would notice and I'd be like, goodness, this is so annoying to me that they still do this. And it's such a small thing that if I look back, I don't think I ever taught them that. And it's so hard to wrap your mind around all of the classroom management that you're going to have to coordinate, but you will get better at it. And making sure there are things that I cannot handle if this doesn't happen that way, be strict on those. Do not budge for one kid, or everyone will try to make it budge. It's a lesson I had to learn, and next year I will do a much better job of that. But yeah, make sure you are strict and you are consistent in the guidelines you place. That doesn't mean you're going to yell at them. That doesn't mean you can't have fun with them. It just means there are things that are going to come up daily that you are going to have to come up with a reason for them to do it a certain way, and you cannot budge from that if you want it to be that way every time. Because if you do, they will never do it that way again. Okay, my 6th tip is to find a system of organization and planning that works for you. Now, coming in as a first-year teacher, it's probably very likely that you are not going to have anything planned for a lot of months in advance. It's actually very unlikely unless your team helps you a ton. And even then, a lot of teams just plan as they go, and that's the system they have. That's the system my team has. So even if they do help me and they've given me so many resources, but they were never months and months ahead. They were always planning week by week by week. Hello. So if you are in a situation where you are put on yourself of how you're going to plan and organize, and it's all based on your classroom and there's no collaboration, find a system that works for you. Figure out how many weeks ahead you want to be, planned out. Figure out what kind of paper filing organization works for you. I learned this year that as a teacher, there are so many papers that you have to keep track of. You can make a binder system. You can have a file folder or crate. Do as many things as you think can help you, and don't let it overwhelm you. It definitely has overwhelmed me of trying to organize all of the papers, all of the assignments, all of the lessons. Find a way that works for you. Like I said, there's many different ways. You could use your computer, you could use your file cabinet, whatever it is, figure it out and stick to it, because if you keep changing things, it's going to waste more time for you. Again, things I've learned this year. My 7th tip is to focus on one thing each year to improve on. There are so many aspects of teaching, and of course you already know this, but if you are in it yet, you definitely know this. And if you try to focus on improving every single aspect, classroom management, organization, lesson planning, meetings, building relationships, like all these types of things, if you try to focus on one thing at a time, it can really help you. So I think that a really great thing when it comes to your practice that a first year teacher should work on is classroom management, because that is the setting that is going to set you up for a great year, which I know now and I knew before, but I will be a lot better at it next year than I was this year. And it's hard because when you're in there, you want to be the perfect teacher for reading. You want to be the perfect teacher for math. You want to have the most fun science activities. You want to be silly with your kids. You want to have crafts. You want to have great classroom management. You want to have all these things. But focusing on like perfecting or as close to perfect as you can get for yourself at one thing each year is going to help you grow as a teacher. Because trying to perfect everything in one year is impossible and it's just going to stress you out. So I would suggest classroom management for first year teachers. And again, even if you focus on it all year, you will still grow it throughout your career, but it's great to just really try to find things in one area that's going to help you feel like you've mastered that area of teaching. Okay, tip number 8 is to find a lifeline at your school. This can be anyone that works there. It can be someone on your team, someone who works in the office, someone who is a resource teacher, someone on a different team, someone that works in the cafeteria, someone that is a para. Like anyone that works at that school could be a lifeline to you. I am super fortunate to have a lot of people at my school that I think I can openly talk with and feel out and, vent to, things like that. It is so important to have someone at your school. Now, I am someone that calls my mom every single day after school, and my mom is so gracious and lets me vent all the things on my brain each day. But she's not a teacher, and she's not at that school with me every day. She doesn't know the other people that work there. She doesn't know the students that you have. So finding someone that is in that world and at that school with you is so vital for them to fully understand what you're going through and to give you real tips because they're in it with you. So find a lifeline at your school. If you're lucky to have more than one, that's awesome, but really try to find one and be that for them too, because then that just builds healthy friendships also. But find a lifeline. That's super, super helpful as a first year teacher. Okay, tip number 9 is to take time for yourself. Now, if you are a teacher, you know how hard it is to not think about school. I am constantly thinking about, what are we learning tomorrow? What do I have to prepare? I wonder how this student's doing. I wonder what I could do to make this more fun. I wonder, do I have this ready for the meeting? Like, there are so many things that you think about all the time. I think about them at home. I think about them at school. I think about them in the car all the time. But you have to take time for yourself or you will go crazy. So it's definitely hard in the beginning of the year when you're trying to get acclimated to everything and it feels like everything is piling on you at once. It will slow down. You will figure it out. You will get a handle on it. And just remember to take time for yourself, whether that's making sure you leave school at the end of your contract hours and you're not there for 3 hours later than you need to be. Or making sure that you always go and get your favorite coffee in the morning. Making sure you take time on the weekend to not think about school and to do something fun with the people around you in your life. Take time for yourself. Put time in your life to not think about school and to think about your well-being and your personal life, because trust me, this sounds crazy, but it will consume you and you will not know how to stop it. So take some self-care, self-love time and just decompress from this crazy job. And my very last tip is that, guys, teaching is so unpredictable. every single day I would walk in and I would think, okay, we have these things we're learning today. I have this activity. I have this guided reading group. Oh, I have this meeting. Oh, yep, I have to talk to this parent today. And all those things will probably still happen through the day. But it's so unpredictable because there are children involved and because things just change in life. So you might go in and just have such a positive attitude in the morning and something could happen and that just, you don't want to be there anymore. You want the day to be over. That happens to everyone in life, at every job. You could go in and a fire drill could happen and you have to deal with 20 kindergartners not knowing what to do. You could go in and one kid, is crying when they walk into school and you have to help them figure out why they're sad, how you can help. It is just the most unpredictable thing. And you have to always remember that because that's what makes this job really exciting, to me at least, is that every single day is going to be different. Every single day, things can change, plans can fall out, children can make you sad or happy in an unexpected way. And yeah, everything is unpredictable. So go into teaching every day, but especially your first year, with a complete open mind. Don't set these expectations every day for yourself. Don't set these expectations every day for the colleagues you have on how they treat you and what you're going to do and the plans that they have put in the school schedule. Things are always changing and you just got to roll with it. And a great example is the world is in a very big period of change and confusion and stress. And I'm not in my classroom right now. I am at home on a Tuesday afternoon. And that's because I haven't been in my classroom teaching for 3 weeks, just like a lot of other people. So I have to be open-minded about that. It's very sad that I can't see my kids right now. It's not the ideal way of finding that last quarter or figuring out that last quarter of my first year. I don't know if I will see them again this year. I don't know if I will get back in my room in 2 weeks. The world is very unpredictable, and the second you think, oh, this is totally what's going to happen, it could change, and you have to remember to be open-minded. So that's my last tip. Be open-minded and know that teaching is unpredictable. Alrighty, friends, so those were my 10 tips for new teachers, first-year teachers. I am so happy that you've watched this video. I loved making this, and I really want to do more teaching videos in the future. Of course, it's a little hard because we are all home, we're social distancing, and I can't really film in my classroom right now or film things that I have in my classroom, things like that. But I really hope that you are all staying safe and you're staying healthy. Thank you so much again for watching this. I so appreciate it. If you liked this and if you like teaching videos, sit down videos, whatever, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I am brand new and I would love for your support. So thank you so much. I hope you all have such a great day. And don't forget to spread positivity. Bye, guys.